Hey everyone, VortexTCG here, and today I'm going to be showcasing you the final gameplay of the Imperialdramon sealed only that I've been playing, and I'll be playing against Xros Heart for this game. And if you're looking forward to this video, please do like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot. I'm going to get through all this content, and then we're going to go into Blue Flare to finish off BT11 content. But anyways, I get to start here, put the Digimon Emperor down so I don't even really have anything going for me. My opponent gets a pretty good start of the Shoutmon and the Taiki Kudo, which allows him to search and put one underneath the Tamer. He now has 0 memory, and he's just considering how he wants to pass the turn. And so he does by playing the Trio Tamer, which will hopefully give him a lot more memory for his turns. And so here, I think I'm just thinking about cards. I think it's Digimon Emperor. I haven't really played much with Digimon Emperor, but my hand isn't really doing that much at all, so I just end up playing 2 Tamers here and passing the turn. And here we have a little bit of a ruling issue that comes up. So what ends up happening here is that I think my opponent wants to promote the Shoutmon, but he wants to know if he does promote the Shoutmon, does it go to his main phase? Because if it goes to his main phase, he can continue his turn by putting the Trio Tamer. He'll be putting the Zeeg to draw a card and gain a memory. But I think at this point we were discussing if he would even get to the main phase, but he doesn't. So he just has to pass the turn by promoting, and I have to pass the turn back to him by just playing the Stingmon. And apologies for the camera work here, it's not been very good for me at all, this locals. But he swings into security, hits a Dino B, and I get double draw from the Digimon Emperor. This is something that I was misplaying quite a lot early on. I was just not getting the draws that I needed, what I should have got from the Digimon Emperor. So definitely a big misplay from my behalf throughout the previous games when I've had it. He goes into Zanjiro to play out this is Ballistamon, the blocker, and he's still got a lot of memory to play with on his turn. He's got a lot of sources as well, and yeah, so he's just considering what he wants to do, and so he just plays the Shoutmon out, is able to add both the Tamer and the Shoutmon. Just quickly reading the card to make sure it's all good. And so I unsuspend and draw for turn. I hatch an egg. I gain a memory from Stingmon being in play. Go into a Wormmon here, and I think I'm finally getting somewhere. My slow start has finally paid off a little bit for sure. So at this point, I've got the Searcher Vmon, and that's what I'm going to go into. I'm going to add the Imperialdramon, the big piece that I'm looking for in this deck. And now it's just a case of finding what I need to do. I can't really swing because of Ballista, but if he wants to block with it, he can, I think, but it is what it is. So I just ended up playing another Vmon here just to get some more searches going. I add the dual color Megadeth. So if he decides to go into a big guy, he'll get punished. And he swings 2 into security. Ballistamon doesn't die, but the Shoutmon does. And running low on security at this point, a bit worrying, but I think at this point my opponent is not very happy. I mean, when we were playing, he was definitely not happy about the fact that he couldn't really go into level 3s because of Digimon Emperor. Something that I haven't experienced before, quite frankly, and it's definitely quite interesting, to say the least. So he's just considering his options here. He plays another Taiki to reveal 3. He then gets to add, I believe, it's top 4. Gets to add, I believe, the X7 and put one underneath. Starmon's was one that was lacking before, so now he has it. And so at this point, I think he's looking for a crossplay, so he uses the Trio Tamer to go and build his stack. Going into the X3 for, I believe, 3 cost, and does a little bit of searching and adds both the X4 and the Shoutmon, returns the Tamer back to the bottom of the deck. I get a lot of memory here. I go into the X-Vmon. I then DNA Digivolve into the Imperialdramon, return the X3 back to the bottom of the deck, getting rid of all of his sources, which is pretty huge, I think. Swing a security, unsuspend, draw a card with the Imperialdramon. We do it again, draw a card. He hits a Tamer. Pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. He gets to add the Ballista from underneath, and he gets to add the Starmons to hand. And at this point, I've still got a lot of memory to play with, so I just end the turn by going into Dragon mode, playing out the 2 sources that I have ready for another DNA Digivolve turn on the following turn. And so he starts off by getting a memory by putting a card underneath the Trio Tamer, and he goes into Starmon's in the raising to draw a card. And at this point, I think he can't really do that much. He has to clear a lot of the board, and I don't think he's playing Death X. So I think at this point, I've pretty much got game in hand, as long as he doesn't delete multiple things. So we'll see how that goes. I think he's just considering. So he goes into the X7. Or he doesn't go to the X7. He's just showing off the X7 here to delete the Dragon mode. But he knows that it doesn't really do enough because, well, I have 4 more bodies and he only has 2 security or 3 security left. And so he's just considering if that's the play he needs to do. And I think that's what he goes for. He goes Sparrow, Star, Ballista, Zeke Grey, Omni Shout to go into X7 for a high cost, I believe, because he's missing, I believe, some of the stuff here. The Shoutmon, I believe. Although he does have a Shoutmon, so I don't know why he wouldn't go into that. He deletes the Dragon mode and passes the turn. And I draw for turn. Hatch, I gain memory because I have both blue and green Digimon in play. And he didn't play the Sandro, but I just let him have it because I don't think it really matters at this point. So he swings at security, hits an Angie, doesn't have the Dorulomon in hand. Unfortunately, swings again. There is the Dorulomon. Swing again. This does have blocker. Swing again, and then I end the game, I believe. Well, he gets to search off first. And then I just end the game by going into DNA, and then I Jogress or DNA Digivolve and swing for game. We then get into game 2, and my opponent gets to start off with the Starmon and goes into Taiki. Pretty interesting choice from the Taiki. Gets to have the Dual Tamer, and he can. I don't know if you can actually do this, but he put the X7 underneath because it's just a Xros Heart that you can put underneath. So I think it actually ends up working. I don't think it does anything. I think he said it was like mandatory. I'm not too sure. So let me know in the comments down below because I'm not sure either, if I'm being quite honest. So I go into the Wormmon here, and then go into the Digimon Emperor. Maybe I should have done the play a little bit differently. Maybe I should have gone to a level 4 first, and then play the Digimon Emperor, because then I could choke him out theoretically. But he swings into security, hits the Megadeth, so not the thing I want to hit the Megadeth on, quite frankly. And he passes he plays the the Trio Tamer even to pass the turn. So at this point, I think I got to apply some pressure, but I don't think I have all the tools that I have at the moment. So I ended up just playing the TK, the box topper that we got off episode 1. Don't forget to watch Sealed Only episode 2. It is out. It'll be in the description down below. I do appreciate it. He then goes to the Shoutmon, and then adds, I can't remember what it was, but he added something. I think it was an X4. I promote the Wormmon, and then I go into the Magna here. Maybe I'm being a little bit slow. Maybe I should be a little bit more aggressive in this situation, especially as he's not showing a lot of things here. So maybe I should be doing that. I don't know. But we're on 0 memory at the moment, so it's a bit hard to play anything out, quite frankly. So I swing at security with the Wormmon. It does die at 4k, so not great. I then go into the Chimera, and this is where I obviously just misplay really hard. I don't think I should have been promoting this at all. I think I should have just kept this in raising, because quite frankly now it's just like easy to get rid of at this point. So it's not great, I think. I am beating him on the memory race, but I don't think it really matters, quite frankly. So at this point, we just got to navigate through, because we're obviously, I think I'm missing quite a few pieces here, unfortunately. So hopefully we can get through that. So he goes into the Shoutmon King version, which allows him to add 1 back, I believe, and it's for a reduced cost of 3 instead of 5. He then goes into the Trio Tamer, with the Starmons, the Derulo, the Omni Shout. I think he's just like figuring out the way he does it. Goes into the X7 for quite a high cost to get rid of the Chimera, but I think at this point it's a little bit ropes for me because I think I've just lost out on so much here. I shouldn't be losing this much out. I shouldn't have promoted, otherwise, you know, I'd definitely be in a better situation if I didn't do that. So I then end the turn by going into the Imperialdramon here. He swings at security, it does 2 checks. I hit a dual tamer and a dragon mode. Not enough to kill the X7, unfortunately. And yeah, not feeling very good at this point, for sure. So he then plays a tamer, which allows him to play the Derulo, which allows him to draw an additional card. I promote the Imperialdramon, gain 2 memory from the Davis and Ken. And it doesn't have blocker, so I'm feeling a little bit more confident for sure about this. A lot of the stuff in Cross is very low, like DP values, so I'm hoping that I'm all good. So I play the Vmon here, allows me to get a dual color. I add the Megadeth here just so I can answer the X7. I swing, unsuspend, I swing, and it hits the Arigato, so not something I really want to hit. So he returns it to the top of my security, I believe. Which is not great at all, and then I just play the Megadeth to return and get rid of all of his pieces. So I'm feeling okay, at least at this point, but I'm definitely going to be behind on the prize race, I feel. So he swings with the Dorolo, hits the Imperialdramon, obviously, that was put on the top of security. He plays another Angie to play 1 from hand, to draw an additional 2 cards and delete the Vmon. So I have no board presence at this time, so it's not great. And as you can see throughout this whole game, I'm messing up on the Digimon Emperor. I should be drawing way more cards, I feel, and I'm just not doing it. So just massive misplays on my behalf. He gets the Ballistamon and adds the Sparrowmon to hand. And at this point, I feel like I've just kind of like thrown the game here. Like I feel like I should be further ahead than I am right now, but I'm just not there. So it's not great. So I go into the Stingmon here, and then I'm just considering my options. And so I just play the Megadeth to return the Derulo, because I think if I let him have another security check without him going to an X card, Shoutmon X, I think it's a bit problematic. But maybe I should have held the Megadeth so I can answer the X7, the X3, X4, X5, etc. So probably a big misplay on my behalf. At this point, I think I've misplayed this game more than enough, unfortunately. So he uses the Trio Tamer to build up his stack of the Sparrowmon, what's next? We don't know. The Derulo, the Ballista, the Z-Gray, and the Omni Shout to go into an X7 for, I believe, a pretty cheap cost. Allows him to draw 2 cards. And he gets to swing for 2 security, so hopefully there's something in my security, and it's the Gigadef, so he's able to return that to the bottom of the deck and then trash all the sources. So I'm feeling a little bit more confident at this point, but again, I'm not in a great situation, I feel, and he just plays the Trio Tamer to end the turn. Not the Trio Tamer, the Taiki. So at this point, I draw, I promote, gain a memory, I go into the XVmon. I DNA Digivolve into, unfortunately, the Dino Beamon here. Draw and swing a security, hit nothing, and I think this is where I misplay. I go into the Imperialdramon Dragon Mode, and I think I shouldn't have done this, because I think the only way that I end up losing in this game is if I lose to Z-Gray, unsuspend maybe, which I believe does happen here. So yeah, he uses the Trio Tamer to Digicross from underneath Tamers, going into Starmons, the Derulo, Ballista, and Shout. to go into X5, swings into security, hits nothing, and then goes into the Greymon for game. We then get into the final game, and I go into Vmon and go into a search of Vmon, add the Stingmon to my hand and pass the turn. He goes into Sparrowmon and then goes to Taiki, allows him to add the X7 and put the Ballistamon underneath, setting him up pretty nicely, and then he plays the Zenjiro to give himself a blocker and gain a memory. So pretty good from my opponent. I go into the Stingmon in raising, learning from my mistakes finally, and then I go into the Imperialdramon here. Don't want to swing with the Vmon because it has blocker obviously. He swings to security 2 times, doesn't hit anything except for the Imperialdramon, which causes Derulo to go back underneath his tamer. Then he goes into the Blister back under the tamer. Then he plays Derulo, which allows him to delete the Vmon, so losing a lot of pressure here. He's playing Rookie Rush, and I can't beat Rookie Rush. So I go to Imperialdramon, I go Spiral Masquerade just so I can delete some stuff, swing into Unsuspend, he gets another Taiki, so it's just all bad for me at this moment. So he gets the Shoutmon here. I do get security, lucky me, swing again, hits another one. What are you meant to do? What are you meant to do? So at this point I just go into the Dragon mode here, play out the 2, play a Searcher, allows me to add the Magnamon here. He swings into security, hits a Flamedramon, swings into security, hits the XVmon, and then pretty much setting him up for a follow-up play with a Shoutmon here. So he uses Taiki to go for Sparrow, Star, Derulo, Ballista, Shout into X5, swing at security, 1 check, hits a Chimera, and has the Greymon again for game.